Okay guys, welcome to the fifth part of the series. This part we're going to talk about after the block construction, what do we do next? Specifically, we're going to be covering the floor leveling, the epoxy paint and primer, and the tile. So let's get right to it. Okay, so the floor of my hot tub is kind of a little bit wavy, and I know I'm going to be putting tile on it, so we have to pour some self-leveler product in it. So the first thing you need to do is paint the surface with a primer. That way the self-leveler will bond to the existing concrete. Okay, so this product is Mafe Self-Leveler Plus. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but it's Self-Leveler Plus. It's a 50-pound bag. What I've done is I've already added 5 1/4 quarts of water to that bucket and dump the whole thing in and mix it. That's pretty much it. You know, I don't know if it's going to take the whole bag, but it's just a matter of getting the right ratios, and this is the only way I know how to do it. Okay, oh, what's the matter? Getting it up there. I'm pouring it in. And there you have it. That's one bag. And honestly, I think that's going to make a huge difference. And I didn't realize how wavy the floor was until this, and now it looks fantastic. Obviously not perfect, but you know what? We're not here to do a perfect job. We're here to do as good a job as we can with the tools at hand. So it went to every corner. I pushed it around with, not sure if you saw what I was using, but this is actually like a tile scraper. It's not a squeegee or anything like that. It's all I had that had a long handle and was flat at the end. It seemed to actually work pretty well. So now we're just going to hope that as few leaves as possible fall into it. It's we're underneath some trees here, so I'm hoping it doesn't get a tremendous amount of junk falling in there while it dries. But we'll have to take a look at it tomorrow, see what it looks like. Hey guys, I'm really sorry I forgot to video this part of the process, but this is one of the most crucial steps in getting your hot tub waterproof. I use this product called Base Crete. Now it is a concrete type of product, but it's a flexible sealer, and I mean it seals it waterproof, watertight. So what I did is I found a supplier in my area that sold this product, and one kit is going to be 3 50-pound bags of dry mix and 1 5-gallon bucket of the liquid. You mix them together. I applied 2 coats. One was a trowel coat where I just troweled it on just like a skim coat over the entire surface of everything, and the second coat I brushed on. I also painted the exterior of the hot tub with a product called Dry Lock. That's just to somewhat seal the concrete so it doesn't absorb any moisture that may come in contact with. You don't want to get that block wet because you have a hard time drying it out, especially with the interior sealed. Here we go. I am painting epoxy primer on the walls. I just started, got my first wall done. I'm just using a brush, just kind of taking my time, going a little bit at a time, filling in all the little pinholes best I can as I'm going along. Now the tops, the seat top here, and then the floor, it's all going to get tile, but the walls are going to get epoxy paint and pool paint. So I'm using a product here called, it's Olympic Epoxy Prime. Stuff is expensive, as you can imagine, and then you kind of mix in an activator or a catalyst with it and mix it for a few minutes and go to town. So once this dries, hopefully I'm going to cover, you can see my makeshift cover here. I'm going to cover this back up and run a little heater in here so that this primer kicks, and then maybe the end or latter part of today, I'll put the pool paint on, and I'll keep you updated. Okay, and calm before the storm. As you can see, I have primed all of the wall surfaces all the way around. One thing I'm a little worried about is this skimmer. I left it out 3/8 inches, you remember initially, but I was told that just because of how it is, this is the highest likelihood of something going bad as far as a leak. So I tried to get water plug back in there, and I don't know, I'm really going to try to get the epoxy paint back in there, just to see if that'll help. But anyway, I say calm before the storm because I just mixed up the paint. This is Olympic, as you can see, Xeron pool paint, and you mix in an epoxy catalyst in this as well, and then you let it sit, kind of depending on the temperature, you let it sit between 15 and 30 minutes before you actually start painting it on. I'm a couple minutes out from that being done. The only problem is it has a shelf life, and that shelf life I think is about an hour. So I've got to paint everything that you see that's white now. I have about 45 minutes to do, and so it looks like detail work's gonna kind of go out the window. We'll go for quantity, not quality on this one, and then I can go back and clean it up if I have time and it hasn't set up yet. So I'll get with you when that's done. Okay, so I just constructed a really quick lid for this. Just with the 2x6s that I had used for the concrete pad forms. I just made just a couple triangles and threw some heavy gauge plastic on the top. Really, honestly, this is only just to keep the rainwater from getting inside of there. So in the meantime, just kind of covering it, keeping the leaves, keeping the water out. And I'm going to start working on the piping. First thing that we're going to need to do on these piping is just to kind of clean up what we've got. Obviously, a bunch of junk. The fittings aren't going to go all the way to there, obviously. So I'm just going to go around and clean, make sure the last few inches on each of these are clean. Just using a little sanding block and get it prepped for, let's get some work done on the PVC pipe. Now that the pool paint's on, we're down to tile. So you see me cutting tile here on a nice wet saw. I borrowed the saw on the right. You can see that little tub saw that you see on the left. Please, if you have something like that, don't use it. Borrow a nicer tile saw. Save yourself hours and hours of work, and you can blast right through it like I'm doing. You're going to need a good waterproof mortar to set your tiles in. So make sure you're getting a product similar to this Crete 254 Platinum. Also, do yourself a favor, and before you start mixing up your mortar, make sure that you have your tiles laid out and ready to go in the way that you want them, so that you don't find yourself with a half a bucket of mortar that's drying up while you're trying to cut tile. So lay it all out, cut it all as much as possible before you start slapping stuff up. And here you go. This is what it looks like when you've got the pool paint on. Obviously you can see all my walls are painted with that epoxy paint, and my floor, seats, and that upper border are all tile. Also, do yourself a favor, do not put the epoxy paint in areas where you're going to have the tile. It doesn't stick very well. I learned that kind of the hard way. You can see my top border there isn't grouted yet, but this kind of concludes this part of the series. So we're almost done on the interior. Just have a little bit of cleanup, and we've got to put the jets in there, and then we're going to work a little bit on the PVC piping that goes around the exterior. So stay tuned.